Welcome to this IGotAnOffer BCG Potential Test video, where I'll discuss 10 tips to increase your chances of passing the BCG Potential Test. At IGotAnOffer, we've helped hundreds of candidates prepare for the BCG Potential Test, and more than 85% of them have been successful so far. This BCG Potential Test guide summarizes a lot of what we have learned in the process of doing this, so let's get started. Tip number 1. You should read the questions first and then look for the information required to answer them. This will allow you to get an idea of what information you're looking for. And it's much faster than reading the documents first, then reading the questions, and finally reading the documents again to find the data you need. Tip number 2. As you will have understood if you've watched our first 2 videos on the BCG Potential Test, speed is essential to be successful at this test. Scanning the text as opposed to reading the text is a great way to gain speed and become faster. By scanning, I mean that you should look for specific information in the text as opposed to reading line by line. Tip number 3. You should take every question literally. A common mistake candidates make is interpreting or extrapolating the question and the data. Some answers in the BCG Potential Test will look like they're true, but they won't be supported by evidence in the data that you've got and will therefore be false. When you take the test, you need to remember that something isn't true unless it's 100% proven by the data that you've got. Tip number 4. Most questions in the test involve maths. In our experience, successful candidates invest some time up front to properly brush up their math skills. You won't have time to double-check your calculations when you're taking the test. As a consequence, there's a lot of value in being very confident in maths. In addition, this will also be helpful for you in your BCG case interviews. Tip number 5. Pay very close attention to graphs and tables, as they usually are more important than the text you're provided with. Indeed, in our experience, you will almost certainly have to use the information available in exhibits, but not always the information available in the text. You should therefore start with focusing on exhibits and then move on to the text. Tip number 6. You should plan how you're going to answer the questions before you actually start answering them. This will make you much faster because it means you will know what information you're looking for in the documents. You will then do everything with a purpose. Tip number 7. For most maths questions in the BCG Potential Test, you can get to the answer by approximating numbers. You therefore don't need to do precise maths all the time. It's fine to approximate your calculations when the answers you're choosing from are sufficiently far apart. And again, estimating will enable you to gain precious time. Tip number 8. Keep clean notes. This might sound very basic, but with the pressure of the test, it's very easy to go too quickly and to take poor notes. Writing down the wrong numbers or mixing up numbers leads to calculation errors, which you could easily avoid. Tip number 9. Don't stall. Candidates who succeed at the test resist the temptation to spend too much time on any single question. They don't spend more than 2 or 3 minutes per question. If they get stuck, they simply move on to the next question, as skipping a question is better than stalling. Finally, everyone struggles the first time they take a sample BCG Potential Test, and that includes us at IGotAnOffer when we first tried the test. But don't give up. If you follow some of the tips I've just discussed, and if you seriously prepare for the test, you can definitely succeed. Okay, that's it for this series of tips to succeed at the BCG Potential Test. If you have any questions about the BCG Potential Test, don't hesitate to ask them below, and our team will answer them. The next thing you should do is to watch our video on how to prepare for the BCG Potential Test. In this video, I'll introduce you to the step-by-step approach successful candidates use to pass the test. Right, that's it for this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.